Hi guys, my name is Jim, and I'll be talking to you about discount vouchers today. In case anyone doesn't know already, this is what we call a discount voucher. It is essentially a printed voucher that comes out at the bottom of your receipt. So that's the receipt there, and as you can see, it just goes right down the bottom. And the whole purpose of this is to promote return business. At the end of sale, customer gets this, it's got a dollar value, and the whole idea is that they go, oh, I've got whatever amount of discount, and they'll be more enticed to return to your business and spend that on another transaction. Now, the discount voucher system is highly configurable. There's a whole bunch of things that you can set up for it, and the values that appear on there are basically up to you, because there's a whole number of things that you can customize to produce a certain value of discount vouchers. So we're just going to cut over to my screen for a moment, just so I can show you how the discount voucher system works and how it calculates the values that appear on your discount voucher. So as you can see here, I've made a little chart. The bottom section are the settings that you can set up within Retailer. All right, and in short, one's called the contribution, which is done per department, and the second is just a voucher value. All right, this is one example of the multitude of ways that you can set it up. But just give you an idea of it, here's how it works. So in here, I've got a department contribution total for giftware and magazine setup. So based on a sale, which consists of $50 worth of giftware, could be any item within the giftware department, but let's say I've got $50 worth, and $10 worth of magazines. Okay, so in my discount voucher settings, I've set it up so that the giftware department will contribute 50% to a little, what we call almost a bucket, right? Or a pool of money or a pool of values, right? So I've specified that giftware will contribute 50% and magazines will contribute 20%, all right? So based on that, the contribution total, or the pool or the bucket, if you want to call it that, based on that will be 50% of $50, which is $25, and 20% of $10, which is $2. So basically our contribution is a total of $27. Our bucket, our pool is $27 worth. Now the second section that we set up after that is the value of the voucher based on the contribution. All right, so I've specified here that if my contribution is $10 or more, I'll get 5% back off that contribution as a voucher. And as a second level, second tier, I've set it up as $25, and that will give me 10% back as a voucher, as a discount voucher. So based on this, I have got in my contribution total, as we went through before, we had $27 in total, right? So that means we're eligible for this second level of vouchers, which is a $25 for 10%, right? So based on that, we then go 10% of $27, which will then produce a discount voucher of $2.70. Before we go into the whole setting up process of your discount vouchers, we need to ensure that we actually have the module enabled. Now, for supported users of Retailer, that's a free module. So all you have to do is, well, to check and to enable it is this. So when you go into Retailer, we'll go up the top into Help and down into Register. Now on the screen, on the top right of all those tick boxes, there's a module here called Vouchers. All right. Now there's a tick box there which will indicate whether or not it is enabled. You can't, just tick on it. What you need to do is, if you have it ticked, great. Ignore this next section. But if you haven't got it ticked, what you want to do is click on the print button here, and just print off the screen. and just write somewhere on that printout that you'd like to enable discount vouchers. Sign it, date it, and if you have a fax machine, go ahead and fax it up to the number up here, or just scan, email it over to support@tilesystems.com.au. Once we get that, someone will generate a code for you, to which back in help and register, you would click on change. It's going to ask you for a password, which is what we'll send back to you. And in the screen here, that's where you enter the password, which will then enable the discount vouchers module. So let's say we've done all that. Let's now go into the whole setup process. All right. In setup, up the top on the menu bar of retail, once you've enabled it, you'll see an extra option down here for vouchers. When you click on that, this will bring you to the Voucher Setup screen. The first place you want to start off with is in the department/category contributions. All right. So again, this is where we set up that initial level, whereby the sale or percentage of the sale will be put aside in a bucket, in a pool, or in what we call the contribution. So as we can see here, again, the numerous ways to do it, but I'm just going to make it a simplified way. All right. So we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna say that the discount vouchers are going to be based off your gross profit. These are values that I've just come up by myself. So you can see things such as my bikes department will contribute 50% of the sale to the contribution, magazines are at 25, gifts are at 50, so on and so forth. Now, in case you have you want to do it by categories, there's a plus sign on your departments that have categories, and when you click on them, it will expand down and show you the different categories within that department. And whatever you enter in here will take precedence over what you have in the department setting. All right. So that's the contribution percentage. To the right, there's also a tick box for allow redemption. And if you tick a certain department, or as I said, a certain category, then discount vouchers can be applied towards those departments or categories. If you leave it unticked, then those discount vouchers will not work on items in those particular categories. For a report that will give you your average percentages for the gross profit on your departments, if you wish to go that way, you can find that within reports, sales reports, sales profitability report. In here, you can specify a date range for which to look for sales, and you can also select the different departments, categories, terminals, all that sort of stuff. But basically, when you preview that report, it will actually show you by department what the average gross profit is, as you can see on the right hand side, and you can use those amounts or those values in that department/category contribution section. Once you set all this up, we can then progress to the next section. So again, this was the contribution side, so that's the first level, and the second level after that will be basically the values to which the vouchers are going to be produced. So what we do there is on the top on the top left, we go into Voucher Setup. All right, and you'll find two sections here. One's for voucher types and one's for voucher values. Now the voucher types are where we're going to start off with. So you create a voucher type, and within that voucher type, you can have the different values within it. All right. So I've created a voucher type here. All right. So we always start off with the description. When we click Add, all right, it's going to ask us for a description to start with. So for this, I'll create a whole different one, for example, called VIP. Now within the discount voucher category, all right, by default, you'll only have one. All right, and cash sale basically applies to any over-the-counter sale. So it doesn't have to be done per customer. You don't have to specify anything else for it to work besides choosing that as cash sale. Now in the discount type, we've got three options. We've got amount, which is going to be a fixed amount, which I'll show you in a second. We've got percentage, which is the most commonly used one. And we've got loyalty points, which is a whole nother section of the discount voucher system, and that will probably leave for a different time. Just for this, I'll set it to percentage and show you how it works. So from there, we need to specify a start date and start time. So I'll just start it now, and I will set that to. Now we've got voucher credits here. This will only apply towards the loyalty vouchers. So again, it doesn't really matter what you choose there, but just untick that. And then underneath, and then to the right, you've got the options for the days that it will apply on. So as you can see here, I can make this apply on different days. I can say, I might say I only want it to work on the weekdays. I might say I want it to work every day, or I might say I just want it to work on the weekends. All right. So once I've created that, all right, when you select that discount voucher category, the voucher type, that's where we then choose or specify or configure the voucher values that are going to be created from that. So again, right down the bottom, we'll click on add, which allows us to add a new value. Now, in contribution total, always start off with the minimum amount before a voucher is to be created. All right. So again, this refers to the contribution total. So basically, not the sale total, but the contribution total. As we saw from the previous slide, it works in different levels. Right. So the contribution total, again, is going to be basically the minimum amount that you want your customers to contribute to you before they get a voucher. So for example, I might say I would like them to contribute at least $2 to my profit in this example before they even get a voucher. So I might say $2 to start with, and I might say something along the lines of, I don't know, 20%. So based on this, they'll be getting 20% of the profit that they contribute to me, right, or to your business. Now, in days to expire, basically you set your expiry date. With the expiry date, you want to set a date, is long enough for a customer to return back to your business, but not so long as to the point that they completely forget about it, or just completely ignore it. You want to give it, again, every business is going to be different, but you want them to have some sort of sense of urgency to come back to your business to spend that discount voucher. I find 30 days is a fairly common date range to go by, but again, depending on your business, you might want to extend that or reduce that amount. Then to the right, we've got conditions. Now these conditions here are basically specific to that amount, right? So if you had, for example, if I had, let's say, a $20 amount, and I had, let's say in here, I've got conditions, right? Whatever the conditions you specify in here will only be for that voucher value. This one will have its complete separate one. That being said, there is another section where you can set up terms and conditions that will apply to all those vouchers. Now, just keep things simple. I'll just leave it at a single line, and I'll save that. So as you can see now, in my voucher setup screen, we've got two conflicting entries here in the voucher types. So what you want to do to disable one of them is simply to change that that stop date. So for example, if I just want, let's say I'll disable the one that I've just created and stick with the one I had before. All I have to do is change that date range back to, let's say now. And when I save that, you'll see that that becomes inactive. So you can basically change the whether the voucher type is active or not just by changing that start date and the stop date. The other way to completely get rid of a voucher type, if you don't want to see it there anymore, is by deleting it. But to delete it, we actually need to delete the value first. So let's say I want to just trash the VIP one that I just created, right? So I select it, so it gives me the voucher values related to it. I then have to delete the voucher value first, save that. Then, and only then, can I delete the voucher type. As you can see there, it then removes it off. Now, the only thing with that is if there are vouchers that have been created or that have been redeemed using that voucher within that voucher type, then you won't be able to delete it, just because it, that there are records in the back end of retail that will prevent you from doing so. So the only way you can actually delete it is if there has been no history whatsoever with that voucher type, and you have to do it by deleting the voucher value first and then deleting the voucher type. Now, the next section we're going to go into is the voucher formatting, which, as you can see in the screen, is what the voucher will look like in terms of the wording, the size of the wording, and all that sort of stuff. Now, as you can see here, this is related to a receipt printer. So this screen will only look like this if you have a receipt printer. As a comparison, this is what it will look like if the computer that you're on is set to use an A4 printer as the receipt printer. And as you can see here, it doesn't have as many. Doesn't give you as much customization in terms of the wording, but you still have a few options here. Now, if you need to change that for whatever reason, you'll find that option in Setup, Point of Sale, under Terminals on the top left, and where it says Receipt Type, that's where you can choose between receipt printer A4 or A5. I'm just going to change this back to receipt printer so that we can continue on where we were. So back in receipt formatting, as I said before, this is where we can change the wording. So let's say at the moment it says discount voucher. I might want to change that to something else. So for example, I could say, maybe I just want it all in capital letters. So I would just go discount voucher. And when I click on save, you'll see the preview on the right hand side instantly reflects what I've typed in. And you can add a whole bunch of other stuff, such as the line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And down here is where you got your terms and conditions, where you can type in things such as that it only applies on certain departments, certain lines of product. Terms and conditions may apply. See in store for more details. All that sort of stuff. And down here, that's where you can change the size of the font as well. So, for example, if I want to change the size of the amount, I might want to make it nice and big. I might change it to 24, and that will then print off at a bigger size than what it normally does. And from here, you can also do a test print, which will instantly print it off onto your receipt, just so you can see what it actually looks like when it prints out. Now, the last section that we'll look at within the voucher setup screen is the settings section on the top left. So within settings, you've got 4 different options. First being allow voucher generation when redeeming. So this applies when a customer comes back with a discount voucher and redeems that discount voucher. Now, if it's ticked, basically what that means is if the customer redeems the discount voucher and the new sale value still applies or gives them the eligibility for another discount voucher, then it will produce another discount voucher based on those new values. If it's unticked, that means that the discount voucher, when they use that, that's it. They won't get another one for that new sale, for that new new sale amount. The second option, which is discount sell price only, means that the discounts, when you use a discount voucher, will only apply if the item's a full priced item, right? So if the items on the transaction already have a discount, whether by a manual discount or if they're on a catalog, then the discount voucher won't apply another discount on top of that. Whether you give the ability to use multiple discount vouchers in the same transaction, or whether you only allow the discount vouchers to be used on full price items. That's something you'll have to sort of toss up. The next option is allow redemption of expired vouchers, which is self-explanatory. If it's ticked, even if the voucher goes beyond the expiry date, it will still be allowed. It will still apply a discount, and vice versa. And the last option, which is allow reprinting of vouchers, again, if it's ticked, it will reprint when you reprint a receipt. If it's unticked, then it won't, which is usually a good idea to leave unticked because you just don't want your, for example, your staff to abuse that system, whereby they might reprint a receipt, use that voucher, and the customer comes back in and finds out that their voucher suddenly doesn't work because it says that it's been redeemed. Now, all these settings, you can always come back in here, change it temporarily, perform a transaction, go back in there, change it back. That's up to you. And if you plan to do that, I would also suggest setting up a password. All right, now I'm going to take you through just a sample transaction just so you can see how it all works, right? So I'm going to be doing a sale within the gifts department. And as you can see, I've got a 50% contribution amount. And if that contribution ends up being $2 or more, they will get 20% off that contribution amount back as a voucher. So if I go into point of sale now, and I will just do let's say a $50 transaction for the gifts department. So with $50, right, half of that is going to go as the contribution. So that's $25. Now, based on that contribution, 20% of that is going to be our discount voucher amount. So 20% of $25 is $5. So if I end the sale now, as you can see here on the little preview of my receipt, that's $5 as a discount voucher, which they can then use as on the next sale. Now, at the bottom of the discount voucher, there's going to be a discount voucher number as well, which you can refer to if the barcode doesn't work, all right? Because that's how it's going to be. That's how we're going to use it. Basically, when they come back for the next sale, all you have to do is once you scan all the items, you scan this barcode in, and it applies that discount. For example, if I go on, say with a $12.50 item, all I do then is scan that discount voucher into the system, and when it scans in, it instantly takes off the $5 that was on that discount voucher, and it marks it, highlights it in gray to indicate to you that that it has been discounted. Okay, so if you remember from before, the minimum amount of contribution that I need to produce a discount voucher with was $2. All right, and with the gift department, that means I'll need to spend the customer needs to contribute at least $2, or in the case of the gift department, that's $4 worth of an item. So just give you a demonstration. Let's say I sell something that is $3.99 from that department. When I end the sale, you notice that nothing happened. I don't get the discount voucher because it didn't meet my requirements. Now that you've seen how it works, I want to show you another slightly different way of how the vouchers can be applied. So now if we go into Setup Vouchers, in the department slash category contributions, I've set it up so that the contribution amount is 100%. So in other words, it's going to use the full sale amount as a contribution. And just keep things simple, I've just set it for the one department. Now in Voucher Setup, I've done something slightly different as well. So instead of a percentage as it was before, I've set it to a fixed amount. So now what I've done is in the contribution total, I've set it to $20. And if you remember from before, that means it's going to use the sale amount because it's at 100%, which means the contribution is basically the sale amount. So the minimum that they have to spend on a sale in the gifts department is $20. And if they do that, they can then get $2 in a voucher as a fixed amount. Now, by setting up this way, it doesn't scale automatically. So that means if they spend $40, which is twice that, they won't get $4. They will still get $2. If you want that to scale up, then you will have to type that in and explicitly say that that's what is going to happen. So again, for this example, we'll go back into the point of sale screen. I'll sell $20 worth of something in the gifts department, and you'll see that I instantly get $2 worth. If I sell $40, I get $4 worth. But if I sell $80, just for something different, it still only produces $4 because that's the highest value that it matches up with. So just be aware of that. If you are setting it up as a fixed amount, you do have to specify each different value. And of course, with that being said, you can mix it up. You can combine the two. You could go with 100% contribution, so that uses the full cash amount, and instead of an amount, you could go with a percentage, or vice versa. You could go the entirely different way using the using gross profit, and you can set it so that it uses a fixed amount. There's a lot of things that you can do. You don't have to use the gross profit. You don't have to use 100%. You could use something in the middle, or something less, something more. There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot of control that you have within the discount voucher system to produce the discount vouchers that will, obviously benefit your business and promote more return business as well. Now, the final thing that we'll go through regarding discount vouchers will be the reports. All right, you'll find all the reports within reports on the top of retailer, under sales reports, under vouchers, and we've got 3 different reports that we can have a look at. So the first one, which is your go-to report, if anything, is a discount voucher report. Again, you start off with a date range. I've just left it as is. You've got the option to show all the vouchers, or you can show only a selected range of them, whether it be current, redeemed, expired, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, doesn't matter. You can set it up so you can see just the vouchers that you want to look at. And you can also set it to only show vouchers based on the issue date. So when you preview that, this is what the report will look like. Again, I haven't done a lot of vouchers, but they'll still give you a good idea of what's happened. So I've got the number of vouchers issued, which we've got as 6, and they're all listed down here. The vouchers that have been redeemed is 1, whatever the value was, and it'll show up here as well. And the number of vouchers expired, what the value is, the total sales, average vouchers, like the total voucher liability, the average days to redeemed, how often or how quickly those vouchers were redeemed, whether it be redeemed on the day of issue, redeemed within 2 to 7 days, and you've got the percentage of vouchers redeemed as well. And then if you ever need to look back at it, you can go right down to the bottom and it'll show you all the vouchers, the time of issue, how much it was, what sale it was redeemed on, the details of the sale it was redeemed on, all that sort of stuff. So this is going to be your basically the main voucher the main report that's going to apply to your vouchers. The next report that we have is a voucher summary, and as you can imagine, it shows you a summary of the vouchers. So again, you start off with the date range, and then you can group it by a certain period to summarize it. So you can go daily, weekly, or monthly. Just for kicks, let's go weekly. When we hit preview, it will group it by the weeks. So week ending 16, which is the current week that we're in, shows you the number of vouchers issued, redeemed, and expired. And the last report that we have is the voucher department summary. So when we go into that, it shows, you can again start off with the date range, then you can do it by department, and you've also got the option to show the department categories. So when you preview that, and again, it shows you all the vouchers based on the categories and what sales they were issued on, what sales they were redeemed on. They give you the totals down below. So again, that will give you a report for discount vouchers based on the different departments. Now, just before we end this video, I just want to go through and summarize the ideas behind this video, because again, it is a fairly in-depth system, and there's a lot of things that you can do with it. So again, the concept behind the discount vouchers is that it is a multi-level system. So you always start off with the contribution, right, which will determine based on the sale, the bucket, the pool, or again the contribution total. Then based on that contribution, we then determine how much we got. We'll take out from that as the voucher. And again, that's going to be either a percentage or an amount. All the settings for the discount vouchers are within Setup, Vouchers. Always start off with the department/category contributions. That's where you set up the contribution percentage. That's also where you can decide which departments the discount vouchers can be applied on. Once you've done that, then you go into the voucher setup and you set up a voucher type. Remember that it has to have a start date and a stop date for it to work. And within the particular voucher type, that's where you can set up your voucher values. And a good way to start is always to start with the minimum amount that the customer has to contribute before they get a voucher. And that voucher amount or the voucher percentage is going to be based on that contribution. Once you set it all up, all you have to do is make a sale. And if the sale meets the criteria of what you've set up in the setup of the voucher system, then it will automatically produce a discount voucher. And with that discount voucher, when the customer comes back to use it, again, you scan all your items as they normally would. They present you the discount voucher. You scan it into the system as if it was a stock item, and will automatically apply that discount to that sale. And if you ever need to track the performance of your discount vouchers, all the reports can be found in Reports, Sales Reports, Vouchers, and once again, your go-to or your main report that you you want to refer back to is called the voucher report, from which it will present you with all the information regarding discount vouchers, how they're redeemed, how they're issued, any that have expired, all that good information that you need about the discount vouchers that have been used in your system. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope this has been informative. And if you ever need any help, feel free to refer to the Tower Knowledge Base, which you can find on support.towersystems.com.au. We've got articles on there that describe the whole system in a bit more detail. Or just give us a call on at the support help desk line, or you can also email us at support on support@towersystems.com.au.